Everyone, meet Kevin here on the next round of stimulus checks, the next stimulus package, and a stock market update for June 26th. Tomorrow, by the way, is the 3-month anniversary of the CARES Act, and our $1,200 stimulus checks officially getting approved from round number 1. Yay! That means we have had $1,200 stimulus checks to float us for 3 months, which is like $400 of stimulus per month. Go USA, and take that Canada. Now, first, let's get started with what the White House just gave us. A little bit more hope, I suppose. Monica Crowley, the spokesperson for the Treasury, which honestly is kind of funny because I feel like we all think that Steve Mnuchin is the spokesperson because he's always the one giving us updates, and he's actually the Treasury Secretary. Anyway, the spokesperson, Monica Crowley, came out and gave us some insights today. She said if we see in another few weeks that the need is still there for another kind of stimulus, and we're focused on economic, pro-growth kind of stimulus, if those conditions still exist, we will consider additional stimulus checks. That's good. Now we're starting to finally have more of an open dialogue about more stimulus checks. This comes at the same time as Larry Kudlow, who hangs out in the White House all the time, says that he wants to potentially see the next stimulus check to be more targeted to those who lost jobs and who are in most need, which honestly, this is frustrating because, I think a lot of us would agree that it should just apply to the same group of people, if not more people as last time, but also sends a bit of a mixed message because Larry Kudlow, come on, he's the dude who's always like, man, that $600 plus up is such a disincentive for people to go back to work. You give them $600 a week, they don't want to go back to work, which that's frustrating on its own when Larry Kudlow says that, because it's like, dude, really? You think everybody can just get up and go back to work like it's that easy? Anyway, there's that. But for him to say that, and then on the other hand say, maybe we should just target stimulus checks for people who are unemployed. That doesn't make sense. I honestly think he misspoke on that because that's like cognitive dissonance here. That don't make sense at all. Now, I do believe that they might sort of ratchet down the income limit, right? Last time you had to make under $75,000 to qualify for the full stimulus check. I wouldn't be surprised if they click, crank that down a little bit. Who knows, maybe 65,000 or 55,000. Although, keep in mind, even if Republicans try that, and the Trump cabinet tries that, although I don't think that's gonna be a good move for politics thinking about it in an election year. I don't think the Democrats are gonna be okay with any kind of reduction since they're trying to broaden who gets the $1,200, and they're also giving dependents $1,200, right? So this will be an interesting battle, but at least we're finally hearing consistently more information reiterating the next round of stimulus checks. Just think about this week, for example. We heard Donald Trump talk about the next round of stimulus checks, almost essentially saying yes to it. That was like a 99% confirmation. Now we hear the Treasury Department says absolutely another round of stimulus checks are on the table or in talks. And Larry Kudlow's not even talking about the stimulus checks coming. He's talking about them coming just being more targeted. So it's almost kind of like we're getting a relatively clear confirmation here. I mean, certainly don't count the money yet until it actually shows up, okay? But the good news is the odds are the money would show up a lot faster than it did the last time. That 3-month anniversary, 3 months ago, March 27th, it took a lot of us, at the earliest until like April 15th to see the stimulus checks, which was almost 3 weeks. This next round, they could push a button on Monday and we could see the checks on Wednesday for those of us who gave our direct deposit information. Anyway, in the meantime, the House of Representatives just passed a bill to make Washington, D.C. a state. Honestly, I have to say I was a little bit blindsided by this, but I was not blindsided by Mitch McConnell saying that's dead on arrival. And we're gonna wait and see. Anyway, coronavirus cases are spiking. Florida is closing bars. Microsoft is permanently closing the Microsoft Store. I guess that only leaves the Apple Store left in malls. Oh wait, they're closed too in certain locations now, like Houston, Texas, where all of them are closed. Anyway, companies are starting to realize, and this is a bad, we've been talking about this for a while, but companies are starting to realize that, we could sell online just as much as we could sell in store. And we could sell just as much without employees as we can with employees. Maybe we don't need to rehire as much. This is bad. And it doesn't help that at the same time this is happening and people don't necessarily want to go outside, at least people who are over 50 years old don't want to go outside. And then you have Larry Kudlow, who is over 50 years old, or older than 50 years, going, hey, we're just gonna have to, quote, live with hotspots. Elected officials seem to be considering reducing the $600 unemployment boost that expires on about July 25th because of the technical end of the calendar there. It'll actually be earlier than expected. They're considering reducing that $600 boost to $400 to $450 per week with a potential back-to-work carryover that would allow some of us to take that money over from unemployment with us back to work. But again, this whole relocking down and pausing the reopening seems to be kind of throwing a wrench in that gear, which is also why I get a little bit annoyed when I hear people say, just wait for the next jobs report, just wait for the next jobs report. Dude, no. The next job report reflects like a euphoric period from June 1st to June 21st. That was some good euphoria there in the stock market and reopening. What about like the last 9 days of June where things are starting to fall apart again? The jobs report is going to be fugazi magic. It would be very, very, very dumb for the jobs report to be what Congress and senators and the government use to determine the next rounds of stimulus. We need actual case data. We should listen to the economists and the Federal Reserves and please help avoid, as the Fed says, and Jerome Powell, the dude with the money printer, avoid avoidable bankruptcies. I tweeted Dave & Buster's yesterday and said, please, please don't go bankrupt like Chuck E. Cheese. And they replied and said that they were ready to play. Anyway, new data now shows that the amount of people requesting mortgage forbearance is skyrocketing. Applications went up every day last week, and I am going to take at least part of the blame for that. I've been highly encouraging you to take the $0 mortgage, and I outlined my reasons for this, how to do it, and some pitfalls to avoid in my mortgage forbearance video that I posted yesterday. So if you have a mortgage, you are a landlord, an investor, or an owner, and you have not yet taken mortgage forbearance, please consider watching the video. I'll link it down below. I'll put it up here somewhere. It is called New Stimulus Rule, Change to the $0 Mortgage Forbearance, and it provides you with all the updated information on that. In other news, consumer spending is up 8.2% in May. But again, we're coming up from basically a toxic pit of nothingness. At the same time, now China is threatening the United States. That harsh rhetoric from the United States is hurting their phase 1 trade deal with the United States, which is leading to more tumult within the stock market, as if we didn't have enough tumult already today. And as I look over here, what the heck is this? Take a look at this. We've got an emergency alert. COVID-19 cases on the rise. This is like one of those Amber alerts. COVID-19 cases on the rise. Please social distance, wear masks, and stay healthy. Wow, okay. We are now getting Amber alerts for cases being on the rise. I'm surprised that we didn't already know that. Anyway, this is not what we need right now. We don't need more tension in the market. We need solutions. And Mitch McConnell did clarify on Thursday that he wants to see more testing, not less. This came around the same time that the federal government agreed to keep certain testing sites open under federal funding rather than shifting that burden to nearly bankrupt states. But this definitely does continue to sort of reiterate the divisions between Republicans in the White House and Donald Trump and the Republican-controlled Senate, where the White House is interested in shifting testing burden to states, possibly even reducing testing. We're not exactly sure what is being meant when the White House either jokes about it or not jokes about it. And Republicans in the Senate are saying, no, yes, please, more testing. Anyway, all this just creates more uncertainty in the marketplace, and it does not help that Fox News, Tucker, well, I guess help depends on which side you are on. So I want to be mindful that I'm trying to be in the middle as much as possible here. But it certainly, it's not good for Republicans when somebody like Fox News host Tucker Carlson admits that Donald Trump's re-election now looks like it's in severe jeopardy. You could check out Tucker Carlson's show to see that yourself on YouTube. Watch the video from yesterday. And trust me, I realize when I say Fox News and Tucker Carlson, I am referring to like the right, okay? For half of us, that's gonna be like me referring to CNN, okay? I'm just saying it's weird that somebody from Fox News would put together what they did about Donald Trump yesterday. I think that's very odd. Anyway, Moving on from that, because that is a potentially divisive topic, this does mean that the next round of stimulus is going to be more and more complicated, because the less cohesion we have between the party in control, the less cohesion we can expect to have between Democrats and Republicans, and the more uncertain things are going to be going forward. And I'm sorry if that creates more anxiety for you. It certainly does for me. And this is why you need to make sure to have life insurance, because just even trying to stay in the middle makes me glad I have life insurance, because it is so stressful to say things correctly and as nicely as possible. So please don't make me feel bad. Get life insurance instead in the link down below and get 2 free stocks with Webull. When you deposit just $100, you will get 2 free stocks worth up to $1,400 and sign up for life insurance. Now, remember, if you have not yet, also apply for the $1,000 EIDL check. Those funds are going to run out, so I don't know what you're waiting for, but get that $1,000 EIDL check. If you are at all self-employed, have a side hustle, gig worker, Uber, realtor, landlord, I don't care, apply for the EIDL. Also, you have 2 business days left to apply for the PPP. Monday and Tuesday are the last days that you can apply for the PPP. I personally recommend cabbagewithak.com. Also, keep in mind that this income is taxable unless you spend it on business expenses. Always confirm this, of course, with your personal tax CPA. Now, for those of you, you might also want to check out my video breaking apart how you can take the PPP, unemployment, and the EIDL, and make sure you're kind of separating the timing on that so you're not double dipping. Now, in terms of the stock market, I'm gonna keep this brief, but I did use Webull and Robinhood and M1 Finance to purchase stocks today because it was such a red day. I did also post a stock market update video, a dedicated video for that. Of course, YouTube suggested that to a fraction of y'all, so if you're interested in that, make sure to check that video out. I will link it down below as well. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching this video update. Consider subscribing, share this with somebody you think might find benefit out of this, and folks, I will see you soon.